What's going on, Airsofters of the internet? Jake back with Airsoft Parts Bin, and we're going to be doing another gun vault video today. Today we're going to be doing my Tokyo Marui Recoil Shock AK74M. It's the long boy version. I'm just going to be going over what I did externally, what I did internally, what it's shooting performance-wise, what I normally use it for, things to look out for as well that I wish I knew before building the gun. So let's dig right into it. I'll probably throw up another camera angle here because the gun is super long. So we'll start with the front half and we'll work our way to the rear. The front half here is set up to be kind of like a very minimal, like Russian FSB special forces type of deal, because this AK I use for a lot of like Russian kits that I do when it comes to MilsimWest games and just pickup games in general. So right here I have it's a standard AEG Zenico lower rail. I actually had to cut this section of the rail to fit in the channel that goes on the lower body right here, so it can slot in. WII Tech makes I don't know if they make this exact one, but I know they make rails that slot right into the Recoil Shock specific receiver. So that's something I wish I knew beforehand, but at the same time I would have had to order it directly from WII Tech, and I already had this rail, so I put a little bit of labor to not waste shipping time and shipping and handling costs in general. So it was worth it in my eyes. The only thing I wish I would have done better is I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell. The barrel is a little crooked from this flashlight because the flashlight is mounted to the rail and the rail is slightly canted to the right, I think. So it's a little off-centered, but it's just a big floodlight. It's not like it's not like it's like a laser or something. And even if it was a laser, I could adjust the laser. But the light itself is it's on a gooseneck, but it's to clone a real light that they make. They make a smaller version, but I like the big one because having a big light to just blind your enemies is actually really cool. It does come with a pressure switch right here. The pressure switch has a on and off toggle. It's really sensitive to when I know I'm not going to use it, I'm just going to turn it off. I got myself a makeshift little sling point here, which is actually really helpful. It stays on real nice. Zenico brake as well. I think it's an LCT, but this gun is 24 millimeter. That's something to take into consideration for this gun. So that's the front half. Let me swing it around for the rear half. So the rear half is pretty basic. Stock top cover, dust cover. I did find a Boneyard AK-74. Took the grip off of it because I do like the Bakelite brown contrasting to the black receiver and the stock. Stock Magpul MOE stock. I think I've covered it before. I like the MOE because it doesn't have the locking tab that goes in the front right here that just adds another piece of clicking and when you come to adjust and stuff. I do have the Laylax buffer tube adapter. Now the reason I did this was not only is it nice to have a buffer tube, these stock release buttons are super fragile on these guns. And the Laylax buffer tube adapter, there's a screw that threads right into the back of the gearbox, so you don't need to use this button at all, and it allows for a regular AEG spec buffer tube. This is an APS buffer tube that I was able to thread on. So the one downside though is you can't fold the stock anymore, but I mean I hardly ever did when I had the OEM stock anyways. So just to save the headache of having to try to source a button, I just swapped over to the Laylax buffer tube adapter, which was a good move in the end anyways. So just going over some of the internals, I completely gutted this gun and it's currently shooting around 380 to 400 feet per second. It's probably more consistent around 380 to 390. The reason I have that set up like this is for MilsimWest games, and for just local pickup games, the FPS limit is 400 or I think it's 1.3 joules or something like that, with a 2.0 or whatever BB weight they want to use to determine joules. So it's just set up right below that to be able to be used anywhere. Obviously can't use it indoors. But I can swap some springs and be able to use it indoors if I really wanted to. But that's kind of a hassle, and I like the way it's set up right now. So internals, it's using the stock gearbox shell. It has a flat hop nub with an R hop patch on the inner barrel, and it's using a EMG Atlas bucking with a Lilacs 363 millimeter inner barrel. Now the reason I have a 363 millimeter inner barrel is because I'm using 3.2s and I have a full cylinder, which makes it perfectly volume matched for using the 3.2s based on the inner barrel length and the cylinder porting, which is full, so there's no ports at all. Motor, it's using a ASG 22K with a Lonex helical pinion to bevel. Then the helical bevel is attached to the Lonex gear set in here. Now, I did have an issue with the Lonex gear set where the spur gear demilled itself. So demilling is essentially when this top section of the gear separates from this lower section and it free spins. So when I would fire, only this bottom piece would spin and this top piece would be stuck because they're no longer attached to each other. Now, I thought originally it was the piston that broke. Ordered a FPS Soft Air full metal rack piston for this. I originally had a Prometheus piston in here, a Lilacs piston, and the piston was fine, but I had the FPS Soft Air one, and the Prometheus one, it works fine, but it is, you know, not a full metal rack, so I just went ahead and threw in the FPS Soft Air one. It's using a Lonex piston head, I believe, and it's using the stock cylinder with the Lonex cylinder head, and it has the AK Recoil Shock specific spring guide. I'm using the stock tappet plate Recoil Shock cylinder or air nozzle. Gate Aster, version 3 Gate Aster for AKs, it fits right in. I'd recommend using that, or you could possibly get away with using a version 3 Jeftron. I haven't actually personally installed one, so I don't know what mods might be necessary, but originally the only option available for these was either you put an inline MOSFET or you can use a Gate Titan version 3, but the way that the two circuit boards sandwiched together didn't fit quite well, so you didn't really have full auto. I think you had semi-auto only because it was like a selector issue. So with the Gate Aster version 3, it only requires one side to be needed, and that side fits perfectly in the gearbox, and the other side doesn't need anything. You just got to put the stickers in certain spots on the trigger, selector, the little paddle that the trigger is attached to. But overall, it fit with no issues, and this thing rips pretty hard. So hope you guys liked the video. Did a quick little one this time. Didn't go in full yap mode. But if you're looking for a setup like this, I definitely consider looking at the parts list. I'll put them down in the description below, where I got everything as well, because you can't really get everything from the same place when it comes to upgrading AK recoil shocks. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.